How do you take a business that's been struggling to make a profit for 8 years?
So I can't keep operating the way that I am.
Go into panic mode and all this kind of jazz, and turn the entire business around in just one session. How badly do you want that?
Bust, basically.
Not only will we make this business profitable, we will double the revenue by sorting out the structure of the funnel, the operational cost, and so much more. Okay, what is their targets?
They don't have targets.
So big welcome to Meg Batchelor today, who we're going to be working with. And I'm really excited, Meg, to start deep diving into the business. So over to you, Meg. What you've got to show me?
We are focused personal training in Southampton. Actually started in an indirect way. I started out in a traditional way, working one-to-one in large commercial gyms. So I had that experience and that exposure. But after a while, I knew that that wasn't a place that I wanted to remain in, because I felt that there was something missing in the fitness industry and this kind of over obsession with aesthetic over health and longevity. So I went out on my own, trained people from homes and parks. But again, I met another barrier in terms of being able to deliver what I felt really passionate about. I was a competitive international powerlifter. I was winning titles representing my country, but I wasn't able to translate that passion for strength and empowerment and resilience to my clients. I knew that the space didn't exist and that I needed to create it. 10 years ago, I opened up my own facility, and that's where I started kitting it out, operating absolutely on a shoestring, built it from the ground up. And over the years, I realized how important it was not just to deliver in terms of strength, resilience, and fitness being about freedom for people to live the life that they want to, but to make the best possible impact, I needed to be able to scale up. That's where we became specialists in small group personal training, really leaning into that social connection, and also we're able to impact more people, seeing more people that way as well. When I decided it was time to have a family, I knew I needed to build out my teams. It's from about 8 years ago onwards that I started employing staff, and we have grown from there. The challenge I really found myself in when I first came across BBE was I was making an impact. I was passionate about what I was doing, but I wasn't making any money. And I was very proud of what we were doing in terms of how we were helping the clients that we had. But brand awareness was none, sales process needed working on, and just the longevity of the business, because I can't help no one if the doors have to close.
Yeah, so true, right?
Yeah. So
you're very impact driven. Obviously, you need to make money to keep yourself going. And I think it's really good to get that background, understand where you're at in your business, the challenges you've had. 8 years ago, you had a family. I know that when we first met, that was top of mind, right? You had a lot of challenges there, didn't you? And I think there's a lot of people that watch this that, you know, are business owners that are, or either mums or dads running businesses, managing children, and that can be difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I've done some work on myself in many different ways. So I was coming into this knowing that I know my stuff when it comes to fitness.
Yeah.
As women, particularly modern day society, we're told we can have it all, but it's very difficult to balance wanting to have it all, but also be present as a family and present. So scaling up also means being able to be present with your family whilst having a successful business, because if everything hinges on you, you're never going to achieve that balance.
Worked with us now for, how long have you been with us? 2 years at least?
Yeah, about 18 months, yeah.
Okay. What's some of the biggest lessons or the biggest differences that's made to you?
The confidence to make decisions, which is obviously really, really important, because if you spend too long thinking about something and not acting on it, there's no such thing as staying still. You're either going backwards or you're moving forwards. So making decisions is absolutely imperative. So that's one thing. But also, I think there's a real similarity between being a parent and being a business owner. And the realization that, like, as a parent, it's actually quite comforting to realize we're all making it up as we go along. And to an extent, as business owners, you look at other people and think they know everything. But being around a network of other business owners, you can see areas that they know so much more than you, but also areas that you can contribute to them,
of course,
as well.
Yeah, which is super important. So that community and that support's really helped you. Okay, great. So today, obviously, we want to work on the business. For those of you that are listening along or you're watching at home, Meg has done a really great job. And when I look at the different clients we work with, I think our ads are right up there. Our funnels are doing very well. Yet there is some resistance to scale. So I think some of the quality of what you do is excellent, but the volume and how much we push it is not necessarily there. So we need to look at that and say, well, how are we going to take some of this great work and great creativity and take it to the next level? Is we'll establish where Meg is, where she wants to be, what are the blocks, how to remove them, and put a game plan in place for how to get her there.
We've just finished our financial year, and last year was just a little over 225 grand. Our average lifetime with a client is about 19 months. There's quite a big variation on that. Some will be with us for years, and that's the current spend that they would have with us during that time. At the moment, we invest around about £1,500 to £1,800 per month in advertising, which is primarily on the Meta platform.
That's a really great start. We know where we are in terms of sales. We know what happens when a customer becomes a client of the business, and we know what we're paying to get them there. Where do you want to be?
So it's really important to me to become profitable. That also speaks to what we were talking about in terms of being present as a mother, being present as a wife, and sort of my own core values. Without becoming profitable and having a consistent salary, I will just work myself into the ground because there'll be no holidays, there'll be no breaks. The second part is to double our turnover. So we have quite a expensive model, but it's one that doesn't actually increase as we increase our client base. So it's all blue sky up here, but we've just been stuck right on that level for such a long time. And so actually to double our turnover shouldn't include doubling our spends. You often say don't quit before the magic, and I feel like the magic's just up there and we're just stuck just behind it.
So one of the things we want to establish, we know where we are, we know where we want to be. How badly do you want these things? And when you look at double turnover, double the turnover, get turnover to £500,000 is measurable.
Yeah.
We know whether we achieved it. We know whether we didn't achieve it. Become profitable. How profitable? It's slightly more obscure.
Yeah.
You've got to take a salary in there. If you're going to fast forward 12 months, what is the salary that you'd want to take? And you'd say, okay, maybe I'm not in Harry Potter Wonderland, but there is some magic happening. There's a spark. What would that look like?
My ego wants me to earn at least as much as my husband.
Right. Well, first of all, it's always good to be aware of these things, but your ego is often not your amigo.
I know.
Right?
I think I'm like stubbornly independent. Like I've had part-time work since I was 12, and I would never stop working in between that, because to me, being able to make my own way, even though I am in a relationship and we are working together, I think to be able to feel that I can hold my own, that matters to me.
So we've got two choices. We either make more money or we get your husband fired.
Yeah, possibly not wise.
Okay, cool. So what have we got? What's the target?
So I think for me, I've done the maths in the past, and like a place that would allow me to take breaks, have holidays, have a nicer car, all of that sort of thing. If I was on 70k as a consistent salary, that allows me to live the life that I want to within reason.
So obviously when it comes to the business owner pay plan, we've got a certain amount that we can take out the business tax free, and then we've got dividends that we can take as well, right? Yeah. So when you say 70k, are you envisioning you running yourself through as a PAY employee, or are you talking about actually taking dividends as well as your baseline?
Baseline and dividends.
Okay, fine.
I just haven't been in a profitable enough position to take dividends before. It's generally just whatever's left in the pot after I've paid everyone else.
The reason I ask those questions, again, for those people that are listening or watching, if Meg's actually saying, well, I need 3,000 take home, and that's a very different situation for a business owner, because, you know, we've got a tax-free allowance as a business owner that we can take tax-free. And then to top that up to £3,000 a month is not that hard, right? So if we put that as the target, that's now measurable, correct? Yeah?
Yes.
So you've said become profitable. So we want to be making enough money, right? So you can take a decent salary, which is twofold, right?
Yeah.
Where we're currently at the moment is £227,000 in sales a year. We're spending a small amount on marketing per month in order to drive that revenue and drive those clients in. The business has some operating costs which are making it not profitable, which we need to dig into those. And where we want to be is we want to significantly increase the turnover and then make sure that we can take home at least £3,000 a month, because we're profitable enough to do that, to give you some breathing room, make you feel chilled out, and make you in a good position.
Yeah,
correct?
Definitely, yeah.
Okay, cool. How badly do you want that?
You might have to bleep me, but it's shit or bust, basically, because I can't keep operating the way that I am. Yeah. And I also can't imagine a future where I go back into employment. So it's now or never, really.
Yeah, it's got to happen, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, again, reason I asked that is because we want to be really attached to the outcome. We're going to make the outcome happen. Okay, tell me why you think you're not there. What are the challenges been so far?
So we are a human-based business, which I know are the most expensive ones to run because, that's a big part of who we are as our core values is an in-person business, its presence. So the coaches and the staff salaries are the biggest chunk of what we spend. I keep things pretty tight in terms of expenses outside of that. So in terms of 20K per month, about 60% of that is staff salaries. And then on top of that, you've just got operating costs. So that does factor in a £1,500 salary for me.
All right, so that's what you're taking, 1,500?
Sometimes.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Yeah.
So we've got operating costs. You're saying one of the biggest reasons that you're not there yet. We need to talk about that. So that's 20K a month, okay?
Yeah.
Clients getting
I'm not charging enough to be sustainable, but also we struggle with attrition sometimes because the clients that we have, as much as they love us, are really stretched to afford what we do. And so the slightest bump in their own financial circumstances, and we're the first to go. What we want to do is try and magnetize the clients that can afford us more comfortably, as well as increasing our prices to make us more sustainable. So our client numbers are quite stagnant, it's like ideal client situation, and they'll stay for years.
We definitely need to look at the operating costs and understand why we're running at 20K a month. We've got to look at that. We've got to understand that. The right clients, we can do some work there. And the fact that there's no growth, we can obviously do some work there as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into the numbers and start to map out and really understand how we turn this business around, how we make it profitable, get you more money and really get going. Does that sound good?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, let's jump in. Let's start building out this business. So very quick recap before we get into breaking the business down. We've got Focused PT, based in Southampton. And by the way, if you're in Southampton, you want to get super fit, go and look them up. So this is what we've got. Now, what they do, small groups, bring people in, get them to a great place with their personal health, with their strength, with their fitness, and do an amazing job. Okay, so we're on that, Meg. We're all correct, yeah? Where we currently are is we've got a business, and business has been tough, right? 8 years working very, very, very hard, but not making enough money. However, we've done a good job of getting the revenue to 227,000. So we want to actually be making some money, bringing some money in. We want the business to be growing, and we want to create more profit within the business. So essentially, Meg can make more impact. So now we just got to say, how do we bridge that gap? So there's 3 challenges. One is operating costs, one is growth, and one is the clients. We want to bring in essentially clients that got more affordability, so we stop the churn. Correct? The first thing that I want to look at, and the bit that I was really keen to understand, is the operating cost model. You said that's £20,000 a month.
Yeah.
So let's look at that first of all. And this is something that we should all be looking at doing with our businesses, is understanding what are our costs, what is our break even, because that's the way we can build forward and grow the business. So if you just rattle off an idea of where that 20,000 a month is built up from, how does that work?
So we're at about 11.5K staff costs. So their salaries.
Staff, yeah.
Yeah.
How many staff?
3 full-time.
3 full-time. Any part-time?
We then have a freelancer 2 days a week.
Okay, so 1 freelancer, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Plus Meg, yeah? So that is currently the team. And that is essentially, you said it's 20K costs. This is like 55, 60% of the costs.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Now, those 3 staff, tell me what they do.
The equivalent of 2 full-time coaches and 1 full-time person, delivery, facility, operating manager.
Okay,
so
operating manager, gym manager. Okay, so you've got someone doing all of the operation stuff, the delivery, going back to clients, making sure they've got emails, make sure they know where their sessions is, organising everything, and then you've got these 2 people delivering here.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So that's currently what makes it up. That's 55%. This is pretty easy. We're going to break this down quick. What comes after that? You've got marketing. You said you're spending £1,500 a month, yeah?
Yeah, we've recently increased to £1,800.
Okay, so we've got that £1,800.
Yeah.
All right, so that gets us to 13.3, yeah, or 13.2. Okay, what else we got?
So the facility costs are about £2,500 a month.
Okay, so gym. This is gym, office, depending on what business it is.
Yeah.
3,000.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, great. What else we got?
So we've got debt management, because where we've not been that profitable, I've had to kind of dip in and out of loans and things like that.
Okay.
So servicing that debt is about £1,000 a month.
Okay, so we've got £1,000 worth of debt. Okay, what else?
My own take home, which would be about 1.5.
Okay. Right, so this is directors, okay. Costs, yeah, what else?
A big chunk of that operational cost is the facility, but there's about another £1,000 on top of various support services.
Right, any others?
I think that's about it.
So about right, there or thereabouts. Okay, that's our cost base. When you look at that, most people go, well, what can I really do with that? Well, I've got the people, I've got to pay the people. Well, I've got the marketing, I've got to pay the marketing. So I don't do any marketing, I've got no people in here. And it feels like we end up being stuck. We've got the gym cost, which is exactly the cost we've already got. We've got these different bits and pieces that we've got to pay for, and they're all there. It looks fixed. So what do you do when you've got a cost base like that? Well, the first thing is I'd be looking to understand that most of our costs comes in these three people, okay? Now, I have this principle, which is a great principle for everybody that's listening, everybody that's watching. It's never what it costs you, it's only what it makes you. So the way that you look at this, if 55% of this business, the cost is made up here, okay? My question is, well, what are these people actually making us? What are they actually delivering us? And how can we get them to deliver more? Because we need them to add more to the operation. Mm-hmm. So explain to me, you pay that out for these people. What are they delivering back to you? Yes, they're servicing your clients, but what else are they adding to the business in terms of what they're doing currently?
It is primarily servicing the clients. So client retention, freeing me up to focus on the marketing and sales. So I don't get involved in the day-to-day operations so that I can be the person who brings the new customers in.
You're saying the business currently is at 20,000 in sales. We've got 20,000 in costs. We're basically break even with your salary, correct?
Yeah.
And because of that, every month's a struggle, cash flow issues, etc.
Yeah.
If each of these just added £1,500 in revenue to the business, our entire problem would be solved.
Yeah.
Right? Because you would then be able to take an extra 1,000 and you'd have 3,000 left over.
Yeah.
Right. So the question is, how do they add revenue to the business currently?
They don't at the moment. I think one way that I can see a need to build out is selling horizontally.
Okay, what is their targets?
They don't have targets.
Okay, right. So we can see that there's a challenge here, right? So if we were to give them some targets and we were to go and we were to talk to them and we say, look, I love you, and you do this in exactly the right way, because a lot of people struggle with this kind of conversations with their staff, right? Oh, how can I possibly go and have these conversations? I can't tell my staff we're struggling. I can't tell my staff we're in this situation. They'll absolutely hate me. That'd be an absolute nightmare. I don't know what I'm going to do. Oh, go into panic mode and all this kind of jazz. But if we simply went to the team and you delivered it in the way that you deliver it, or you can get them to watch this, might be easier. Right. Okay. Right. If you literally went and you said to them, right, okay, where we're currently at in the business is we're breaking even. I've been doing this for 8 years. I want to make an impact. I really need your help to drive this business forward. And you were to hold a small workshop with these three people, and you were to say, how can you help me to drive more revenue into this business? And I want to give you a target of you being able to find £2,000 a month worth of sales, and they were to go and hit that, you wouldn't even have a problem. Like that one thing. And we're going to do more than this, but that one thing would change things. So first of all, what could they sell that they're not currently selling? Could they sell an add-on service? Could they sell a retreat service? Could they sell a bootcamp service? Could they upsell the year? So if they're currently paying monthly, could they upsell the year for you and get them to pay in full for the year? And if they pay in full for the year, they get 2 months free. Yep. Right? What could they do that would allow them to sell further with you? So, because one of the things you didn't say was one of your challenges is you said nothing about product range. Yeah. You said, well, I want to get better clients. But you also said, I've already got these amazing clients. They love me and they stay forever. Well, the problem is if you don't sell these people that love you and want to stay forever, anything else, you're forever looking for new clients, you're going to run into these problems you're going to run into.
Yeah.
So let's look at the clients you have and the product range you have. So first of all, we've got a mission. We've got 3 people within our business that if they don't come and help us out, there's going to be a challenge. Agreed?
Yeah.
So tell me the products that you currently have in the business.
So we have small group personal training sessions, which is a maximum of 6 in the session. They come and train with us 3 times a week. They can purchase on a monthly rolling basis or a 12-month prepayment basis.
So it's monthly rolling?
Yeah.
Or 12-month prepay?
Yeah.
How much?
At present, it's 327 monthly, 3,270 annually.
So 327
yeah.
per month?
Yeah.
And if they do an annual plan, they basically get 2 months for free, yeah?
Yes.
How many pay in full?
We have about 25% of our clients on paid in full.
Okay, 25% just pay for the year like this.
Yeah.
And then 75% pay for the monthly.
Yeah.
The ones that pay for the monthly, how many of them drop out?
More often than not, they might just do their 3-month minimum and then move on.
So you end up only getting 900 quid.
Yeah.
Rather than 3,000.
Yeah.
And correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you start this business to make an impact?
Yeah.
And if they only stay with you for 3 months, what type of impact does that have?
Very restricted.
Can we see this, right? So there is something that needs to be done here.
Yeah.
And this, whose job do you think this is? To upgrade the other 75%.
Yeah.
The 2 people that are paid in full that are committed for the year, how do they get treated differently to the other ones that are in there?
I don't think we have a defined difference.
No, they don't. No. Okay. That's also an issue.
Mm-hmm.
You've got no incentive for them to become one of those. So we need to have 2 memberships. We've got 1 membership with this, 1 membership with this. You're trying to sell on price, but you need a status increase for bringing these people into this program. Okay? Not just a price increase. So it would be like, well, Sally's in the class. Sally is platinum member, or Sally is the ultra action taker or A player, whatever it is. Sally's got that identity because she's paid for the year, she's committed for the year.
Yeah.
Well done to you, Sally, because you deserve that recognition because you're whatever it is, whatever we decide we're going to call that identity, that will get these other people that are not that identity to want to come on for the 12 months.
Yeah.
And it should be their job to get as many people onto the 12 months as possible. Currently, you're getting 25% of the people are doing the full pay,
mm-hmm.
and the rest of them not doing the full pay. Now, some of them won't do the full pay because they've got to get going, they want to see what it's like, etc. So we understand that.
Mm.
So they can come in for the 3 months, but we want all the other people to pay up front and to be able to get this special relationship with you where they get something special for doing so. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're going to come back to that. Right, what other products you got?
We also offer large group training. So it's only 1 in 4 training sessions they have access to. And that is charged at $197 per month at the moment.
And what do they get? Same pay?
Same $1,970, yeah.
I think you're missing a value ladder in the business.
Mm.
Do the people in here go here?
Very rarely.
Okay. This is why the products are not linked together. Right, what else? What else we got?
So there's an introductory program into that, which is a 6-week plan. That's what we call our inner circle, which is the longer term plans.
Right, so 6-week plan.
Yes.
How much is that?
$497.
Okay. And then what happens after they do the 6-week plan?
We aim to convert them into one of the longer term plans.
Right, so one of these or these. Which is one's the inner circle?
If it's not the 6 weeks, we just call it our inner circle. It's a bit undefined, I suppose, at the moment.
Okay.
So
you're just given the status, but you just give it away too easy.
Mm.
So you had it, but you didn't set up right. Yeah?
Mm.
Okay, cool. Do people ask you for anything else? Is there something they come to you and go, oh, can you do this? Oh, do you do this? Oh, can you help me with this?
Most of the time, it's more like referrals for physical therapy of some kind.
Yeah.
But I think we would...
Many people just say, I want to just train one-on-one.
No, because we sell based on community and people like that aspect, being around other like-minded people, but also from a scalability perspective, it's quite difficult to staff one-to-ones because it blocks out their time.
Yeah, of course.
And yeah.
Yeah, okay, so currently you don't need to do that. What does this client journey look like? This is really important. That what we always want to look at is when a client comes into your world, what is the sequence in the order of what happens? This is definitely missing from this business. It seems like the client is control rather than actually Meg and the team being in control. And we want to control that client journey. So client comes into your world, they've seen your ads, they've seen your landing page, they book a call. We got that bit, rock and roll. You got great ads, you got great funnels, your marketing's pretty awesome. Your problem is your structure of actually your client journey and how you take people through the process. The operating costs, it's not even that big a problem with the operating costs. It's not like you got so the defined challenges don't actually end up being a defined challenges. What actual challenge is that you're not taking someone for a structured journey that increases the lifetime value of the client. So I come in, what do I buy first?
It is the 497, yeah.
So client buys the 497. Then what happens? What do I buy next?
From week 3 on, we start telling you about the other programs so that they've got time to afford it. At the end of the 6 weeks, we aim to get them onto either the SGPT, the small group stuff, which is currently 3,270.
Yeah.
Or the LGT, which is currently 199.
Okay. Yeah. So the 199, the 399, whatever it is, the 397. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So basically, I buy the 497, and then I go here or here. By the way, I said that the structure, we're going to work on that for Meg in a minute. This is actually quite good because what Meg does is Meg is allowing someone to come into a world at a lower cost option. I like that because that allows people to say yes. It brings more people into the pipeline. If they came in first and Meg said it's 3,270, they'd run a mile, she'd never get a client. So the fact that Meg does this part well, I actually don't mind this. But what I don't feel is being done to the maximum is this next part. We've got these two options. So what is the fallout? What percentage of people buy at 497 and don't go into the program?
It's quite high at the moment. It's probably about 50-50. Possibly
so 50% drop out of the client journey.
As much as 2/3 sometimes.
Okay, 50% drop out of the client journey. As much as 2/3?
Yeah.
You're saying 50% will go into a program.
Yeah.
Correct? Okay, cool. All right. So how long do they get in the 497?
That's a 6-week plan.
Okay, so they go 6 weeks and then they get to this decision point where they're either going to drop off or they're going to go forward.
Yeah.
Correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there's a fix for this. Then what happens? How long do they go here? How long do they go here?
Minimum 3 months or a 12-month program.
Okay, so 3 to 12. Who makes that decision?
They do.
All right, that's wrong.
What they can.
Okay, we don't want that. Okay, cool. What happens after that?
At the moment, the 3 goes on to monthly rolling, and the 12, it would be a case of them renewing at the end of the 12.
Okay, so then basically you got renewal, yeah? So the renewal, what's the rate of renewal?
On the annual plan, it's really high, so it's probably about 90%.
Yeah.
And the rolling one, it's lower. So the lifetime is much shorter, so it's probably about 50%, something like that.
Okay, so if we said 70% of people that buy a plan renew.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, if you're listening and watching along, what we've just established here is what is the client journey. Client sees the ads, books a call, makes a purchase, and then 50% of them are going on the journey, 50% of them are dropping off the journey. We're going to fix that in a moment once we understand the numbers. Here, they come into this world and they choose they're doing 3 or 12. We're going to fix that in a moment because there's breakage. There's breakage in this model here because people are dropping off. There's breakage in this model here because people are choosing their term. And there's breakage in this model here because there's people not renewing. So if this were a funnel, it's like holes all in the funnel where people are coming out of the funnel rather than going all the way through the funnel, which is what's impacting the business and impacting the revenue. Hopefully that makes sense, Meg?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Most people don't look at their business in this way, but this is exactly how you should look at your business. Because when you do, you can fix the problems and you can fix the pain points. So now we understand this. There's some simple fixes. How open to change are you? How coachable are you?
The way I'm doing it now isn't working, so I'm ready to take on action, yeah.
You mean it?
Yeah, I mean it, yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, so this is what we're going to do. First of all, you can fix this breakage with a very simple fix, okay? Which is you say, instead of losing 50%, okay, this is how it works, Meg. We work with you for 6 weeks. It's 497 for the 6 weeks. You then automatically move on to our 197 a month, which is the long-term training. Now, if after you've done 6 weeks with us, you don't want to do the 197, we will have a review. And if you don't want to come out of that, that's okay. But we set that up right from the beginning because our intention here is to make an impact. Our intention is to get you the result. And we know if people, all they ever do is the 497, they don't end up with the result that they want. So what we want to do is we want to get you into the program, automatically move you onto this, and we'll have a review meeting. So what you're then doing is you're selling up front the 497. You can tell them, and they know if they don't want to move forward after that, they don't have to, and that's okay. But the fact that they're now expecting to move forward and they're going to agree it, you're going to lose a ton less people. So you're probably going to take this 50% drop off. Instead of it being a 50% drop off, you might reduce that to like 30% drop. Okay? Mm-hmm. Because now they've got to have an awkward conversation with you to drop off. And they go, oh, this woman's helped me so much. And now I've got to tell her I don't want to do a 197. It's going to be a lot less likely because they're already set up. So when you take the Stripe payment, you go, here you go, 497. And then after 3 months, 197. After 6 weeks, 197 per month. Just check out there. And then this is, a cancellation window, review meeting at the end of the 6 weeks.
Yeah.
You just save 20% of that breakage in that funnel. Don't get me wrong, there's still some people that go, this ain't for me, and that's fine. But what you're going to do is you're locking them into the long-term expectation. That's option 1. Or option 2 is you sell at a higher price point. But I actually like this price point into this non-breakage model.
Yep.
Now, what you have to do is you have to set a review period here. And at the end of the 6 weeks, you have the review meeting. And you come to the review meeting and you say, hey, Meg, great stuff. You did very well in your 6 week. You're now on the 197 plan, which means you've got this already. And they'll go, okay, I've got that. That's what I'm on. So now the relationship's not ending. Mm-hmm. Now you need to say, well, what I want to talk you through is you can stay on that, or you can go to this model, or you can have this model, which is you can pay for the 12 months up front, you can upgrade, you save 2 months for free, or you can go into our inner circle version, which is much smaller, much more private, etc., which is this version. Do you want to stay on the plan you're on, or do you want to move up into that next level?
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Now it frames the conversation in a completely different way, and you got a much better result. Are you getting this? You understanding it? Yeah. Okay. So review meeting, you're already on plan, but I need to talk to you. Now, this is the plan. These are all 12 months. They're not 3 months.
Yeah.
You can't dictate, you can't control 3 months, right? And the way that you say this is, we're going to call these 2 different things. This can be your inner circle. This has to be 12 months to get in, because this is status driven. This has to be 6, because I could see in your face, you're going to struggle with that. So they're on that no matter what, okay, on a 6 month. This is inner circle. We need to rebrand this. What result do they get if they come in here?
It's pure training. So whereas the inner circle is more about support and coaching and contact time and smallness, intimateness, that's more pure training.
Is it body transformation or energy transformation?
Like fitness and energy transformation, yeah.
Okay, we'll call it energy transformation.
Yeah.
So we've got energy transformation, we've got inner circle. Mm-hmm. Which one do you want? You're currently on energy transformation, where we're going to do that over the course of the next 6 months. You'll be more energetic, you can sleep better, and get these results, all the rest of it. Or you can come in the inner circle, and the inner circle is 12 months, this one's 6 months. Which one do you want to do? Mm-hmm. So now what you've done is you've decreased the drop-off, you've increased the amount that you're being paid by double for these churn, and you can present the pay in full options. Okay? Now with the inner circle, this is where you loop it back. Your 3 people's job is to say, how do I upgrade these into the inner circle?
Yeah.
And they need to be saying, you're ready for inner circle. You're ready to move into this group.
Yeah.
And then you start to build those through the process. Okay. So is that all making sense to you?
Yeah, absolutely.
Any challenges with that? Any reason you can't do it?
No, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So you can make those changes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, what I would do when you pay for inner circle in full, you get the 3-day retreat for free. It's their job to get your inner circles paid in full.
Yeah.
Because now, instead of them they're paying 12 months, now this person be, I want to go on a treat. 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 And then this is 3K, 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 3K. You were only getting 25% to pay like that. You're now going to be moving all the people to pay like that, which just means you're just going to be increasing revenue constantly. And this is going to help you. So you've got the revenue coming in, but these keep growing. Because currently what's probably happening is you were talking about growth in clients. What's happening, the amount of clients coming in the top, your churn is consummate to the amount of coming into the top. So you're just flatlining.
Yeah.
What you need is a bump. And the only way you can get the bump is by getting these to be paid in full, which is their job.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would be targeting these people with 2 pay in fulls a month. So they can go, or even 1. Mm-hmm. Right, it's your job to get one of these people onto the retreat per month. Now, what you can do is bring the retreat in, turn the retreat into a $2,000 option. Don't need to go crazy on costs. Make it sensible, and then go and offer it to all the clients, and they've got to sell 2 retreats a month. But the inner circle can get it by upgrading, and if they upgrade and they pay in full, they can get the retreat for free.
Yeah.
But if they do it monthly, they've got to pay for it.
Yeah.
$2,000. So it makes no sense. So they may as well just pay for it, which means everyone's going paid in full. Are we getting this? Hopefully everyone's watching is understanding it. Well, you've had a ton there. Let's just go now to your action list, okay? What we've done is people coming into the world now, we've set the expectation that training is a long-term thing, not a short-term thing. So when they come on, they pay their 500, they're set up from the very beginning. We're going to have that review meeting and we're going to offer them a status increase by going into the program, paying in full for the program, or going to the inner circle level, which is smaller group, better quality, being in that position, which gets them an incentive to upgrade and to go to the top level, which people will want. We have got the team upgrading people through this process because now the team, we're going to introduce this product of the retreat. And by the way, you're giving that away, that money. You could even train the team to do it first and then you can upgrade the price later. But because you're doing it for the first time and just wanted to bring it in, now you've got the team, they've all got a target of selling 2 retreats per month. So that is 6 retreats. Now, even if you only sell 3, it's a $2,000 product, you've got another $6,000 a month. You've got your outcome because you told me your outcome was you wanted to, 1, become profitable. If you do what I tell you, you will. 2, you wanted to pay yourself an extra plus 1,500 plus take your salary regularly.
Yeah.
And really have that feeling of impact and success, right?
Yeah.
Which are these elements here. So the team, even if they only hit half the target, they get you the profit. Even if they only hit half the target, they get you the extra salary. You've got the money coming in. Even though you get half the target, you've got a better group. You've got the impact and the success. Now, the value ladder, which I'm going to talk to you, is the last thing I'm going to do with you. Okay, inner circle covered, retreat product covered. But I think you haven't got the understanding of how to move people through it, which is where the challenge comes in.
Yeah.
You got the 497 plus the 6-month 197. Okay, I'm going to give you an awesome tip on value ladders. For everyone watching, in a minute, when you see this, the minute you see it, it's going to make so much sense to you and you're really going to get it. Okay, so we got booked call into 497 with the 197. Okay, we then got the next move, which is PIF for that product or inner circle, correct?
Yeah.
And then finally, we've got the retreat, which layers on top, which is the $2,000. And then in time, we're going to raise the prices. Make sense? So this is the challenge because you have got part of that value ladder. But in the value ladder step, you have to have a moment where you spend time with the person to move them to the next step. And this is what's happening is you haven't got a formalized moment in time where you spend time with someone. This is where we have the review meeting to sell them into these options. Following that?
Yeah.
And then you've got the team upgrading to here or here. Now you've got a steady flow of the client journey where you're moving them up every single stage. It's going to become very simple and very easy for you to turn that business. Really, the moves are this big move, this move here, this move here, the introduction of another product to sell them. What we could do is potentially bring Meg back and work on the bottom of the funnel where we say, how are we going to bring loads of people in through the ads and through the marketing? Because now we've increased the amount of inquiries. We've got a much more formalized model to take them through. That's how we can get this business way past, because you wanted 500K. You know, introducing this, we can get them there. This is how we can go from 500K to 1 million to 1.5 and beyond. Do you get in all this?
Yeah, it's fantastic. Thank you.
Yeah, and how do you feel now?
Yeah, excited. Yeah.
Yeah, are you going to put this in place?
Yeah, 100%.
Good. Well, hopefully you've enjoyed that business audit today, team. We've covered a ton of stuff. There's lots here for you if you're a business owner. Maybe you're not in fitness. It doesn't really matter what industry you're in. It's the principles. It's the principle of how are your teams maximizing your results? How are you collaborating to maximize results? How are you traveling people through a client journey in order to take them on a journey with you so you can make more income and you can make more impact? Hopefully that's you've enjoyed it. If you have, go and tell us in the comments. I look forward to seeing you on the next Business Growth Secrets audit.